Pet search is so difficult because from a scientific perspective, animals, when they're stressed, they sweat, just like humans, and they sweat through their paw pads. So we're tracking sweat. So we're not tracking the skin cells off a human, which is almost like glitter. It goes everywhere. A human sheds on average 40,000 skin cells a minute. So you can imagine the amount of glitter we shed as humans. And then scale it down to a paw pad. We're about to take ownership of a property. It's actually the first time we're making this public, and we're going to build a detection school there. So where people can learn some basics about this as well.
Hello and welcome back to the Paws Effect Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Cara, and I'm so glad you've chosen to spend a little time with us today. If this is your first time listening, please hit that subscribe button, rate or review. It helps people discover the kind of conversations that empower and inform pet owners. And a thank you to Stitch for the scrubs. They're our go-to at Hillcrest Vets because they're not just stylish, they're built to support us through anything the day throws at us. Today I'm chatting to the team at Healthy Hound SA, a pet detection dog unit here in South Africa. We're talking about how scent detection dogs are trained, what kind of searches they do, and how this work is changing lives for dogs, for people, and for the wider community. Whether you're into dog training, enrichment, or just fascinated by the capabilities of our canine companions, you're gonna love this one. So, welcome, a very warm welcome to Diane from Healthy Hounds SA to the Paws Effect Podcast. It's very nice to have you here this afternoon.
Thank you.
You are en route, which is why you are in a restaurant setting. You are on your way to do something, which is what you do every day. Tell us exactly what does a normal day for you look like?
There is no such thing as a normal day. Wake up, get licked in the face by a Belgian Malinois named Cairo, play with the Mallies and the dogs, and then it's pretty much slowly get up, we do some training, feed the dogs, make sure both of us are ready for the day, make sure that Miss Muppet Charlotte is all sorted for the day, and then it's out searching. So, and every day is different as to what time we start or what time we end. I mean, we've got days where, like today, we start fairly early, and then I don't even know what time we're going to be home. So every day is very different. So like today is very much, we've just been searching for a missing Staffy, and then quickly fed Charlotte this podcast. And then we're off to, Greenstone side for 2 cats that escaped from a vet just before they were getting neutered. And then after that, another missing cat. So it's one of those days.
So for context for my listeners, I am going to just, because all my listeners are obviously pet owners, as am I, just going to set the scene. You know, whether you're taking your cat to the vet to be castrated and they escape, or you have your cat, and I'm talking cats here because they tend to roam more, but you mentioned the Staffy that you were dealing with this morning, or you have, a pet that goes outside and doesn't come home. There is nothing harder than losing a pet, let alone when you don't know what's happened to them and not having that closure. And this is something that you offer a service which is one of a kind here in South Africa to hopefully reunite owners with their missing pet, whether it's a positive outcome or not. So tell us, where did this start? Tell us a bit more about your background.
About 15 years ago, I had a little dog named Katie. He was a little mixed breed, looked very much like Axel. I can introduce you to Axel today as well. He's he's a superstar. So Axel will greet us in a moment. But I had a little dog, and one of my neighbors' cats went missing, Mouse, and we searched for him. We decided that it was an owl that gotten Mouse, and something twigged in my brain that this is something I could possibly do. But I was so busy with my corporate career that I was like, pipe dream. And then 5 years ago, I left my corporate job during COVID, and I started Healthy Hound to do training with the I was obsessed with dogs being overweight and the need to make them skinny, healthy living, hence the Healthy Hound, because my dog had died from obesity and obesity-related complications. So I wanted to train with the idea of fitness. And I was searching with Canine Search and Rescue South Africa. I was training with them. And Axel wasn't that good at finding humans. He could find them, But you could see he was like, humans kind of suck. So he would find you, but not with the greatest enthusiasm. So I got a Dutch Shepherd from her anti-poaching unit, and she was 1 year old. She's an amazing, biggest cuddle bug ever. And I was training someone's Ridgeback, and their Bengal kitten went missing. And we're actually, next week, it's 5 years since the kitten went missing. And Sasha said to me, the owner said to me, can't we use Zizou to find Tigger? And I was like, don't see why not. And it was an hour and a half in sweltering heat, and we found Tigger. And it was amazing. We subsequently left search and rescue South Africa, and we started this. So, and then in the December, Axel started helping us, and it's been a whirlwind. James and Charlotte helped me with the training because nobody else in the country would dare come near something as blasphemous as using a dog to find dogs and cats. I mean, I was the pariah of the search world at that time. And James and Charlotte were really good at taking dogs from my sister-in-law's kennels and going to walk in the veldt with them and hide, and helping get cat fur so we could train the dogs to find cats. And they were integral. They were with me from day one. And romantic story, a couple years later, I'm married to James. So
congratulations.
Thank you. We're coming up on 2 years of being married. We went from friends and co-workers to married. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind with work. It's been lots of ups and downs, but that's how it started. One little missing cat and my Dutch Shepherd. So, yeah.
Wow. I mean, there's one thing that I have to get out the way very early on because I do want a little intro to your dog. But when I was researching you have several dogs that obviously you even talk about those that have passed, which is, word, it just touched me in ways that I just like. We feel the same about our pets. But the interesting thing is each one has their strong points and their strengths and their particular likes and dislikes. Tell us a little bit more. And you know what I'm referring to here, but I don't want to take it away from you. I mean, these are very special animals that you have trained who are now part of your team. Give us a bit more information about them.
So they're more than just a team. They're part of our family. They literally sleep in our bed. I wake up every morning with a sore back, and it's not just from my age. It's because I have to share. Well, James and I share a king size bed, and it's ET phone home to find each other because that's how far we are away from each other. A king size bed. We have 6 dogs on the bed most nights. So each dog is so unique. So they're not part of the team. They're actually family. So we've got Zizou, our founder dog. She is a chicken strip addict. She is like, there's no way to describe it. If there's chicken strips, Z is there. Axel likes nougat, weirdly enough. That's his favorite food in the entire world is nougat. He will start drooling like a hungry Labrador if there's nougat around. It's crazy. So I've made sure that this is a nougat-free zone today because I don't want slobber all over. So they all have their favorites. Our one girl, Peanut, likes KFC, but there's one little thing about that. It has to be James's KFC.
Okay.
I can have KFC, leave it in the car, and she'll leave it. But dear James of KFC, it's gone. So I think it was James says she's a fat cow because she's always after his KFC. So I think that's what they're complete characters, and we love that about them. We've got pizza addicts, we've got chicken strip addicts, so they've all got their uniqueness, and as you've seen, we've got that listed on our website.
I love it. It really amused me. So how, I mean, your team obviously focuses on pets. So
yes,
let's talk a little bit more about the process of training these dogs. I mean, they're part of your family, but are there particular breeds that are better at doing this than others, or do you have a combination of different breeds?
So we have very much a combination of different breeds. Axel, who we'll introduce you to just now, he's a Bernese Mountain Dog crossed with a Wirehead Terrier. So, I mean, he's this little mixed brack, and he's our best of the best. Then we've got a coonhound cross Dutch Shepherd Blue, who is as strong as anything, but he's awesome. Then we've got a bunch of Malinois. Sorry, people going past. So yeah, we've got a bunch of Mallies. So it depends on the dog, to be honest. Peanut, who we've spoken about, she works once or twice a year. She's not this high drive, crazy Mallie. She just works when she wants to, and that's fine. But it depends on the dog and their personality. Axel, it tries to work every day of the week, but obviously he needs a break. Blue at the moment is desperately trying to work every day, but they need rest as well. So it's handy having a nice team.
It is. And do they ever work together, or do you select who's best suited for the job?
So we do select the best dog for the job, the best man or woman for the job, but and it's dependent on what the search is. If it's a busy day like today, we'll pick Axel or Blue, who are really good multitaskers. But sometimes we do work two dogs on a search. For example, if there is like multiple cats. So if there's two cats missing, we'll take two dogs to scent and split if the trail splits. So yeah.
Hey there, pet parents. It's Dr. Kara, the Ultra Pet Vet here. Brachycephalic, meaning short-muzzled dogs, have uniquely shaped jaws that can make picking up and chewing normal kibble really difficult. That's why Ultra Pet has created a kibble specifically designed for easy pickup. It contains glucosamine, chondroitin, and green lip muscle extract to help support your dog's joints so that they stay mobile and active. The inclusion of beet pulp and prebiotics helps support a healthy gut by promoting the growth of beneficial bacteria in the digestive system. Omega-3 and 6 fatty acids promote a shiny coat and a healthy skin. Ultra Pet offers 100% money-back guarantee. Try Ultra Pet's premium recipe for short-muzzled dogs today. And tell us about the process now of training. So you recognize often, you're very experienced with this, but if someone said, I love the concept of this and wanted to teach their dogs on a small scale how to do it, is it something that the average person could teach? What is the process?
So pet search is so difficult because you're working on the sweat. We've worked it out what they're actually tracking. So think about it from a scientific perspective. Animals, when they're stressed, they sweat just like humans, and they sweat through their paw pads, right? So we're tracking sweat. So we're not tracking the skin cells of a human, which is almost like glitter. It goes everywhere. One study we read says that a human sheds on average 40,000 skin cells a minute. So you can imagine the amount of glitter we shed as humans. And then scale it down to a paw pad. That's what we're tracking. So to track a human is a little bit easier in a degree than to find a pet because of the smaller scale of scent that you've got. So you can. So what we always suggest to people is to search for people. So you learn with training schools who do people search. And if you're still interested and you can survive that, then you can talk to us a bit more. And most people end up getting stuck learning that and having some fun with that. So it is possible. And if anyone does want to learn more, we're very excited. We're about to take ownership of a property in the next couple of weeks. And we're going to build a detection school there. So where people can learn some basics about this as well. So yeah, it's actually the first time we're making this public, but we thought we would leave that to you.
Oh, thank you. No, that's so exciting.
Yeah. So we're going to be building a dog school based predominantly focusing on detection and more pet and animal detection than because you've got so many people doing man trailing and other forms of detection. But yeah, we would like to give the public a little bit of extra fun with their pets.
So take us through the process. You get a phone call from someone, and often you are having to travel extreme distances to be able to help people. So from a reach perspective, you advertise that you will help if you're in a position to. But what is the process? What is the time frame? What do you give us a case example of what happens typically?
So to say that there's a typical is no such thing, because what we always try and do is we try and help the person for free first. Yes, we're a business, but our primary purpose is to help pet parents be reunited with their pets. And there are certain tips and tricks to get your cat home without spending money. I mean, our tax person will kill me for saying this, and my accountant will say that. But the number of people I help for free and on my phone every day is crazy. So it'll start by getting the basics. When did your pet go missing? What was the circumstances? Did you move your couch? I mean, cats are so finicky that if you move your couch this much, they can disappear. They're awesome. They're so temperamental, but they're so finicky. So we try and understand the why, and then we give them tips as to what to do to try and get their cat home without spending money. So we try and do that. And then if we've ascertained that it's not going to work, that a search is needed, then we set it up. And then we set it up based on when is the owner home, when's it least inconvenient for them to, people have lives. So we want to fit in with them. So the result is we work insane hours to fit around everyone else. So then, of course, once we've worked out when they are, we fit it in with everybody else who wants our attention and our dog's training and. So, it's a scheduling nightmare on some days, but yeah.
So you arrive at a person's house, and let's use the example that it's a cat, because I mean this is something that you do quite frequently with cats, and I'm going down this direction because I want clarification on one thing in particular. I know that some dogs have a great drive or need to search for cats, but I would certainly not trust my own dogs if they came across a cat. So I'd like to understand how you teach the desire to go, but not to then kill.
That's a very good question. So all of the dogs that we use for searching, particularly with cat searching, some dogs are not. Like our girl Z is definitely not a cat search dog. Her prey drive is just too insane. Axel is crazy laid back. He identifies as a cat just in his behavior. Bandit has at physio had a cat on top of him. So, I mean, he's nuts. But so we take the more goofy idiots for the cat searches because they're a personality. We also have been very lucky to be around a shelter that's allowed us to bring our dogs right up to the fence with the cats. So the dogs are used to cats being close to them. And it's the shelter there at Kosank is the name of the shelter. And the dogs have since puppyhood been right nose to nose with cats. So they see cats as friends, not as foes or something to chase. So that's how we get around that. That's how we get them used to kitty cats. And we've been very blessed with the fact that Dr. Sheila and them have allowed us to get the dogs from youngsters that close.
That's great.
So when we get
yes. Tell us the process. You arrive at my house, and I've said to you, we've explained, I've tried to get my cat, no success, and now you're at my door, and I'm interested in knowing the process of how you're actually going to identify my cat and not the neighbors.
Yeah, so very much like in human search and rescue, we've got to rule out the other current suspects. So think about it from a human perspective. You're in a restaurant, and one person goes missing. And you get Canine Sarah in and your Brown Sarah in, and you say to them, okay, cool. I need to find the person who was sitting on this chair. They will scent on this chair. They'll first rule out everybody else, and then they will come to this chair and go, okay, cool. This is the target odor. And then I might have got my process whether they do it first or after, but we'll scent on the cat's odor. So your cat who sat on that little blanket, we target on that, and then we rule out the other animals. So if you've got 5 pets, we'll ask you to put them separate, one side, and then we'll go to where they are, and we'll just ask the dogs to check them. So we give a scent command for the actual target scent, and then we rule out the others. Exactly like they would do for a human search. Same process. And then we go out. And the cool thing is, in most pets scenarios, it's only that cat or that dog that has been out in that area or been out further than a certain point. So you'll get a distinct trail. So then we start tracking from there. And we've had a search for one 18-year-old cat that lasted 26 seconds from when I pressed start on my watch to actually the cat whacking Axel in the face. It literally, he put his nose into the bush and he came out with this cat attached to his muzzle. It was so cross with him. He ended up having like little bloody scar marks from this cat's claws in him. It was so peeved off with him because it didn't want to be found. It had been missing for 2 weeks, I think. And Axel found it literally at the end of his 10-meter leash.
And those are the kind of situations in particular. You know, you've got a very old cat that may have gone somewhere very quiet to die. I mean, that is a traumatic sort of situation where you may have been in a position to get that cat to the vet and intervene. Yeah. So those kind of things, not only when they, missing from the property, but when they're not well.
Yes.
So valuable.
So a search varies based on what happens. So we've had other searches which have taken, James had one the other day that took 3 hours. He says 30 kilometers, like absolutely insane for a cat. And it was back and forth. It wasn't just 30K straight. Oh, sorry. He's saying the 30Ks was for a dog. Sorry, my bad. But it depends on the search. So, and then with cats, cats are skittish in general, especially with the strange dog. So we get to a proximity. So the dogs they all have their own unique tell. So in Axel's case, his one ear goes up and the other one's still floppy. And that's when you know you're within a couple meters of the cat, like 10 or so meters, and we back off. We don't want to scare the cat further. Because if you scare it further, you're just going to be chasing the kitty cat and making it more scared. It's going to exacerbate the situation. It can run into a road. It can run into a dog's mouth. I mean, there's so many bad things that can happen if you scare it away. So most of our searches involve us getting a proximity, then backing off with the dog. And then we have a technique called luring that James has developed, where we use tuna oil and drops of tuna oil to get the cat back, and with the food at home. So once you know where the cat is, you put out a little like breadcrumb trail, like from the old fairy tales. You put a little breadcrumb trail of oil, stinky tuna oil, sardine oil, and you put the food at home. So you're telling the cat, if you want to come back, this is where the food is. So here's mom and dad's scent. Scent plus food equals safety. So that's how most of our awesome finds end up happening. We do have the occasional walk-up find, but those are special, and those I generally go Facebook Live on those because I know that it's going to come, unless it's a surprise with that cat which gripped Axel in the face, or we've had a couple which have been like, oh my goodness, here's the cat kind of thing. Where you give a proximity and you look up and you're like, oh my goodness, this cat's not scared of the dog. So yeah.
So tell me, what are the circumstances that you see mostly? Why do dogs go missing? Is this a sort of situation of escaping the house or the garden? Like what are some of the circumstances around why these pets are going missing?
So dogs are generally the simple old fact of a gate left open. So dogs are generally gate left open, and cats are anything. I mean, cat can be, like I said, a couch being moved or something simple, or someone touching the cat's paw or tail, or we have one that we're helping with at the moment where there was a DSTV guy that was dodge as anything, and the cat didn't like the guy. So it's completely cats. I mean, how long is a piece of string? That's how many reasons you've got for a cat going missing. Whereas dogs is generally somebody left the gate open, garden service or something. That's generally, or it's jumped or over the wall to chase something. That's, yeah.
What is your most memorable search moment? Share one of your experiences that really just comes to mind.
One of our most memorable when it comes to dogs is a bull terrier that we searched for, I think, last year. We got called out. We'd just been to some self-defense training, And we were thinking, oh, yeah, we can get an early-ish night. And Adorable Rescue contacted us and said, we need you guys' help now. And fortunately, Axel was in the car because he'd been searching earlier. He was fast asleep. He'd had his dinner and he was thinking, oh, yeah, he gets to have some time off. And we got the call out and we couldn't say no. I mean, Adorable do amazing work. And we know that when it comes to a power breed like that, time is critical. You don't want someone to pick the dog up and bad things can happen. So we responded immediately. We went out and Axel got on scent quickly. And at one point, we could actually see the dog across the river. It was in Randburg side. And we could see the eye shine. And we were like, okay, we're close. And we kept following. And at one point, we were like, where is this dog? And as we walked past this one bush, Axel turned and he gave a very unusual reaction. Axel doesn't like go vocal very often, and he got a fright. And I took my torch, went round behind this little substation thing, and here was the dog. I mean, Axel was giving proximity the whole time. It was so frustrating because you know you're on this dog's tail, but what do? You know you're close, but you just can't get it. And it obviously was sick and tired of us going after it. And it hid behind the substation, and here was the dog. It was just after midnight. We've been searching for hours. And yeah, so we've got a photo somewhere on our website. I think it's up there, where we've actually got the owner with James with the dog in his arms. So that was a particularly memorable dog one. A cat one was, I've got one that's very unusual. A cat in Boksburg decided to go with a courier guy car. And it got in the car, and the guy's driving, and he gets just onto the highway at Atlas Road, and he goes, what is the sound? And he opens his car, cat bolts out. So from Boksburg all the way to Benoni, next to the highway.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was a bit of a scary one. And it was also an urgent call because time is of the essence. And I didn't have one of the traditional cat search dogs. I had Zizu with me. And I was like, she can hunt, but I'm going to have to be very aware of proximity. And we got there, and Z started throwing proximity alerts from getting out the car. It was like crazy. And I knew I was close to the cat, but I wasn't close enough that I could say, your cat is here. And we're busy tracking. And the next minute I look up, and here's the cat standing on a rock. It had come out of the bushes. Obviously, we had gotten it out of that hiding from us tracking it. And it was standing on a rock right next to the highway. My nerves were finished. Oh. So I pulled Z back. The owner literally walked up to the cat, picked it up, and carried it right past Z and I. I think Zizu was so in shock about this cat being on this busy road and everything that she didn't even bark or do anything. She was like, you could see her going, what, how? That was a complete miracle one. That one, the fact that that cat hadn't been hit on the highway already. And it was just one of those things that everything just, our timing of getting there was right. Z was, and she was just calm. She knew her job. Even though she's not a cat search dog anymore, she just knew that the pressure was high. And she was the right dog because she can handle pressure with noise and everything. So everything just, the puzzle pieces worked. So that's probably one of my most favorite. Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite cat search ones.
Oh, that's wonderful. I mean, I think these dogs are remarkable, but I think the work you're doing with them to get them to this point is, what is it about this work that you particularly love?
I really love the helping of people. I'm one of those chronic helpers. I'm one of those people who should be diagnosed with a mental illness of helping too much, because that's just me. I'm that way inclined. I love helping people, and I love making people happy. So for me, it's that smile when we help people. That's what gets for me.
And your dogs, what do you, I mean, these are phenomenal, very well-trained dogs, but what is the kind of effort that you have to put in to sort of maintain their training, and like how regularly do you have to work with them?
So I work with the dogs every single day. So you'll see we generally have a later start, but that's because I am training with the dogs every morning. So it'll do something as simple as sniffing in containers that you see on TV and that kind of stuff, or a longer track. But I work the dogs. I obviously rotate. I don't work every dog every day, but I have a schedule of who needs to be worked and what they need to be focusing on, whether it be fitness, because fitness for me is a massive, massive issue. A dog that's not physically fit is not going to be able to track far. It's that whole mind-body thing. So I make sure that they're physically fit. I go cycling with the dogs, which is awesome. Living in the farm areas means I can go for long rides with them off leash. And it's just, for me, it's a great joy watching them have fun, get exercise. But we also do a lot of conditioning work as well. So paw pods and those kind of things to engage their core and to fine tune their muscles. So it's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie to you. I work on average 16 to 18 hours every single day.
And I mean, these dogs are athletes. They're really,
they are.
You've really refined all their skills, but also their athletic performance.
Yes. So they also, they get to have a lot of fun too. Living on a farm, they at the moment have 47 hectares where they get to play. They get to be dogs. And every morning we open up at 6 o'clock for them. We've got a small contained garden. We don't like them running around at night because there's dangerous things like porcupines. So at night they're in our garden. And in the day, they can run wild and they can go in the yuxke and get stinky and come back and shake off their mess on our bed, and that's fine. So, yeah.
They get to just be themselves. And I mean, you talk about some of the dogs that are now retired. How do you know when a dog is ready to start training and when that time has come to an end? Is it a performance thing that you're assessing, or what is it?
So they pretty much tell us. So it depends on them. So we've got Haley, who is 11. She's been an amazing dog. She's the reason I got into interested in behavior and all of that, because she was a difficult dog. She was a horrible puppy. She destroyed everything. She had separation anxiety. She gave me all the gray hairs I have is because of Haley. But then she became a therapy dog with top dogs and excelled at that. She was one of those dogs who should have failed, but then excelled. She loved old people. But then I started this work and she and I transitioned. She joined the team and helped every now and again. But she's old. She doesn't want to. So she's retired because she would rather sit on the bed all day and play with the other dogs. And I'm totally comfortable with that. She's an exceptional search dog. But she's small. She's 11 years old. And it's her choice. Peanut is semi-retired because she just doesn't enjoy it. So it completely depends on the dog. We've got, it's a bit of a sore point for me, but we've got a dog with dilated cardiomyopathy. And he, unfortunately, has had to retire, it's horrible because he's 1 year old, and he gets so frustrated because he can't work. But there's nothing we can do about that. So everything is different. So it's whether they want to work or not. And I'm not going to force a dog to work. That's why we have such a big team. If a dog doesn't want to work, I'm not going to force it.
Of course. So you take in their needs and their sort of medical as well as their age into consideration. And yeah. I mean, I would like to take the opportunity to have a little peek at one of them. I'm sure my listeners or people who are watching would like.
Axel, come. Axel, come. Axel, come. Come, puppy. Come. James, please help get Axel. Axel. Oh, wait.
It's camera shy.
He's being very camera shy.
It's possible.
Of course it's possible. This is Axel. He's very camera shy. Wait, Dad's going to offer him food. Sorry. Axel. No, he's camera shy.
That's fine. That was still delightful. Thank you. Thanks for trying.
So he's not a lap dog. If it was one of the Malinois, it would have been no, trust me. Even our biggest Malinois, Cairo, loves sitting on laps. So yeah.
Yeah, they don't realize
James says Cairo is a big baby. I mean, if he was sitting here, he'd be taking over. You wouldn't have me in the shot, you'd have Cairo. Thanks.
So tell me about the situations where obviously the outcome isn't positive. Is there a different response from the dog? When do you give up? How do you know that the search is over? Obviously, if you come across a body versus when a period of time passes. How long do you search for?
Very much, I keep referring to how human search operates, but it's very much the same. So we teach a pickup indication. So each dog is unique. They've each got their own little tells. We like to develop the personalities. We don't like to force them to do a tell. So Zizu, for example, if it's a pickup, she'll lie down. That's her tell of a pickup is a lie down. And that's where the scent ends. So that's someone picking up the dog. That's Z's tell. Axel would just stop in his tracks. He'll be like, okay, cool. Well, there's nothing. So each dog is very different. When it comes to deceased animals, they've learned from each other on how to indicate. Our dogs become crazy affectionate. They start to tell the person. They tell the person before we do, and it breaks gems in my heart. I've been doing this for 5 years, and I still get very upset when the dogs give that indication. So Axel, who, as you see, is very camera shy, he's very independent. He will go up to the pet parent and he'll almost go say sorry. He'll suddenly get affectionate. And then we're like, oh, now we got to tell the person why he's being affectionate. So, our dogs become these sweet little beasts who tell you before we tell you that your pet has unfortunately crossed the rainbow bridge.
Oh, that is incredible. And I just can't believe how in tune they are. I mean, this is particularly special, and the fact that you can pick it up must be heartbreaking because, everybody wants a positive outcome.
My worst is the deceased ones. That's for me, it rattles me badly.
I can imagine. And those that you just never find, I mean, is that something that you come across where there just is no result? There's no body. There's the scent is out there, but
there are those. But there's always a reason, and there's so many. I can't even tell you a reason because there's so many variables with pets. It could be a bird, it could be a car that it's gone in, or there's so many variables. If you think about pets, car, it could have been stolen. There's just so many variables. But I have a mental list of pretty much every pet that we haven't found. I've got it on my phone as well, a physical list. And I go through it regularly. I don't allow myself to ever forget those pets. There was a Buer Yorkie in Pretoria a few years ago, and every year February I see the posts, and it's not the only time I think about that dog. It was a pickup, and we had 2 separate dogs come in, we all the same thing, and I don't forget about that dog. Its little goofy face is etched into my brain, and I don't forget about it. There was a Siamese cat in Palabora that went missing, and it was stolen. And that's another. So I can give you a list of those ones, but we don't tend to forget about those, and we often talk about it and we say, I wonder what, and we keep in contact with a lot of the owners still.
And do these ever come about? Do owners ever get the answer, or are these sometimes just like you said? So they do sometimes.
They do. We've had one that came back after 2 years. It was confirmed that it was stolen. So it does eventually come out.
So if people are facing a situation like we've discussed, their pet has gone missing and it's been a period of time, and they've explored the neighborhood groups and they've searched their garden and they've done all the things that we as owners probably instinctively try and do, what is the process to be able to get in contact with you and get assistance?
So the best thing is to WhatsApp me. I don't always answer my phone because if I'm at the end of a leash, I can't answer my phone. So a WhatsApp is always the easiest way of contacting us. Pop me a WhatsApp. I generally try and at least say hi. I try and respond within the fastest time possible, at least with a hello, I'll get back to you. I've got an automated response that does explain that, but I want pet parents to know that I'm at the end of the line for them. They're not alone. So we respond pretty quickly to that, and then we have that conversation that I spoke about earlier.
Of course. And you cover the whole of South Africa if you need to? Are you able to travel that kind of distance?
We do. It's obviously very taxing on us and the dogs, so we try not to. But we would love it if we could get people in Durban, or specifically Durban or Cape Town, who would be interested in doing this. I would happily train up people in those areas to do this, because there is such a dire need for reliable people in those areas to be able to help us. So if any of your listeners are interested in doing this, please WhatsApp me. There is such a need in those two areas for units that I can't even express it. So we do go out there. We've done lots of searches in Cape Town. We've done lots of searches in Durban. But so we are willing to travel and able to. But it would be nice if we had people down there as well.
Expand, absolutely. And what would owners sort of be or need to be aware of to show that their pets have the aptitude for this kind of work?
Every animal is so different. So any dog that's got a little bit of drive and wants to learn, that's pretty much it. Preferably a younger dog. You don't want to try and ask a 5-year-old Labrador now to start doing this. Whereas a younger dog that is moldable is possible. I mean, my old dog, he was 11 when he did his the one and only cat search. So it is possible to train. And as James is pointing out from the background, Haley started doing this when she was like 9 or something. So it is possible to train an older dog.
And the kind of training, obviously, you shared, thank you very much, that you are obviously setting up something that you are going to be able to expand your reach and train even more dogs and really, offer that kind of service. You are only 1 or 2 people. You've got a small team at the moment, but with the desire to be able to help many more people.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you're doing is phenomenal. And I encourage people to follow you on Instagram. You share a lot of the stories. They are so heartwarming, whether they're positive or they are just great forms of closure for owners. I know that feeling of having a missing pet and needing that closure, whether it's, a positive or that sad outcome of knowing that they're deceased. It just, there's nothing worse than having a missing pet and not knowing. And so I think what you're offering is wonderful.
Thank you. And we encourage people to follow our Instagram specifically, because on our Facebook, we limit it to the happy stories. But our Instagram, which I'm trying to grow, so please follow us on Instagram, is where we do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. I'm sure you've seen. We post the dogs being silly. We post them on our bed. James hates it when I post a picture of the dogs in his arms, but So, but we post a lot of the behind the scenes, the more fun stuff on Instagram, because that's the platform for it. Whereas Facebook, we keep it strictly to our finds or alerting people of scams. That's our serious platform. Whereas Instagram has got everything.
No, that's great. And it's good to get to know them. It's, they each, one of them is very quirky and they've got individual traits, but they're also beautiful animals. So, it's definitely, it's not only wonderful to watch the work that you're doing, but it's also great to get to know the dogs. So I would also encourage all my listeners, and we will include all those details in the notes so that they have direct links to all your platforms. But thank you for taking the time today. It's what you're doing and the work that you've explained is really special, and I do hope that you're able to extend your reach so that you continue to offer it, because I can imagine that it's really physically and emotionally demanding, and I'm sure that
it has its moments.
A little bit. I can imagine. But thank you for taking time out of your busy day, and I wish you luck for your adventure this afternoon. I hope it's as successful. You'll have to let me know. I'll reach out and check and see how that one went. But
Thank you very much.
Share some of your work and hopefully we'll get some more awareness around what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Diane. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode on the Paws Effect Podcast. If you found the discussion helpful, please like, share, and follow our podcast. Don't forget to leave us a comment or review. We love hearing from our listeners. Remember, you can listen to us on your preferred podcast platform. Welcome back to Just for Pets. You're with Dr. Cara.
Hi, Doc. It's Jackson the Jack Rossi here, and boy am I itchy.
Are you on a hypoallergenic diet?
Hyper what now?
Changing to a special diet will really help. And Just for Pets have a massive range. And flea and tick medication, special shampoo.
Ooh, how quick can you get some?
Order today and we'll deliver pronto.
I feel better already.
Justforpets.co.za. Vet approved, pet adored. Get it all to your door.